Farmland Trust and its partners are developing a new and innovative model to reduce nutrient and soil sediment runoff on leased farmland in the Great Lakes region. By engaging women landowners, their operators, and farm retailers, this team is expanding the use of conservation practices to improve soil health and reduce runoff. These videos document the experiences of the women landowners and their tenant operators in early demonstrations in Ohio and New York.
Maybe we could talk about how you first started coming to the learning circles. And what was it like the first time you went to one? Was it what you expected?
More than I expected. It sounded interesting, and when I realized that the content was good, especially for addressing the interests of women landowners.
I went to the first one, but not the second one. And Mary couldn't come to the first one and went to the second one. And so we were tag teaming each other. And the first one was on soil conservation, and that was an eye-opener to me, and Mary had some background information on that to begin with. And then the next one was on the estate planning, and you really took off with that one.
And actually implemented a lot of the content put it into real life.
How'd you do that?
Well, there were conversations about the LLC, structure for organizing farm ownership, and then the second session on the trust. And after evaluating both, I went for the trust structure for my farmland, just to create a legacy for my children.
In terms of the leasing, I'm better talking to my farmers now. I have two tenant farmers. The first one is my legacy one because that was my dad was the one who hired him on and kept that family working. And then Mary has since brought in a new young guy, and he's certainly more amenable to the newer practices. So at least I know what they're talking about, and I know what they're wanting to do. And I've got another, my legacy tenant has a younger guy working for him now, and he's very fluent in a lot of the newer conservation practices.
Oh, that's great. So you feel like you know what's going on.
I feel I know what's going on, and I also know what to look for now. For instance, I know that down at this end of the field I have a lot of flooding issues, and was very interested in trying to figure out what to do with why that was so wet down there, what options I would have. And then I'm looking at different flooding areas that do stay wet longer than I ever remember them staying wet. So I want to do something about those as well to increase the productivity and the viability of the land.
Mary and Gina have been trying to educate themselves on cover crops and farming practices and rotations, and they like to talk to us a few times a year. And Gina set up a program that she'll charge me X amount for rent if I don't put a cover crop on, but she'll reduce it by 25% if I put a cover crop on her land every fall. So she recognizes that it costs us money. This year we kept 20% of our wheat crop back to use as cover crop. She's willing to share in the expense if we're going to do a good job to take care of her land like we treat our own land. My theory is it took thousands of years to put that topsoil on top of the ditch, one thunderstorm to put it in the ditch. So we strive real hard to treat everybody's land like it's super precious, because it is.